Hello and welcome to Top 10 Bikes. I'm Dave Lee Travis, and this week I'll be guiding you through the top 10 Tourers. So if cruising across a continent in a day is your cup of tea, then stay tuned. Gliding into the number 10 spot is the Moto Guzzi California. California's been around since the mid-70s and hasn't changed much since then. The best change that's been made is the addition of fuel injection to the 90-degree V-twin four-stroke. In true Guzzi style, the engine is slung across the frame, with a cylinder head protruding at each side. The two overhead valves are operated by light alloy pushrods. The California puts out 74 brake horsepower and a claimed top speed of 124 miles an hour. You can screech to a halt from this speed using the superb Brembo brakes. And to keep you gliding along in comfortable fashion and retro style, the California still has twin rear shocks. The engine is responsive and flexible for relaxed cruising. As you sail along, you'll be serenaded by the wonderful exhaust note that only a Guzzi can provide. The California is powerful, civilized and comfortable for distance, and believe it or not, durable. True, the newer Californias have better finish, but they're still not quite up to the Japanese manufacturer's high standards. What did our panellists think?
If I could get excited about something, sadly, it would not be this. Brings back memories of Jurassic Park. You could see one of these grazing somewhere behind a railed fence.
Not something I'd ever buy, but I don't mind the odd ride on one. It's got character, it's got a bit of heritage, but it's not relaxing, and big tourers, that's what they should be.
It's okay. It's pretty ugly. I wouldn't want to own one.
The Moto Guzzi California scored a lowly 57%. Trouncing into the number 9 position is the gritty Brit, the Triumph Trophy 1200. The liquid-cooled inline 4 spits out a cool 107 brake horsepower in a smooth and effortless stream to propel you towards the horizon. The relaxed gearing, high torque and smooth engine make riding the Triumph a joy and a pleasure. The panniers come as standard, as does the excellent fairing. The curvaceous bodywork provides ample weather protection, and the ergonomic riding position means long-distance comfort. The pillion position is roomy, plenty of space for a wriggle. Weighing 235 kilos, the Trophy is reasonably lightweight and therefore easy to manoeuvre. The suspension and headlamp are adjustable, so when fully laden with luggage, you can still optimise the ride and adjust the headlamp so as not to dazzle unsuspecting car drivers. The Trophy is a good long-distance bike in all respects. The only downside is its chain drive. Constant, messy maintenance is required. Let's hear from our panel.
The Triumph Trophy 1200. I don't know what the trophy stands for, but it's not getting one of mine. Does nothing for me.
Very good. It's just a little bit bulky now. Due for an update, I think. It's been going in its present form for about 4 years. So if you want British, if you want to buy British but go abroad, then obviously this is a bike for you, but not really the sort of thing I'd buy myself.
It's got a strong engine. They're not known for their handling. So keep it in a straight line if I were you.
The Triumph Trophy 1200 scored 59%. Into the number 8 slot is Honda's Deauville. The Deauville is like a slimmed-down version of the Pan-European. Its sculpted bodywork with built-in panniers is quite a common sighting cutting through the rush-hour traffic in London. The Deauville is sleek, stylish and convenient, ideal for commuting and little touring forays. The Deauville was launched in 1998 and received a bit of a revamp in 2002. It's aimed at commuters and professional riders. It was these customers that Honda asked for feedback before carrying out the changes. Bigger panniers were on their wish list, so Honda made the current panniers taller. Wider panniers would have made it hard to get the Deauville through stationary traffic. Most people were happy with the 650 V-twin engine, strong, smooth power delivery, but vibration was a complaint. Good old Honda has sorted that as well by cleverly redistributing and reducing the weight. Less vibration equals more relaxed ride. The engine is reliable and strong as you'd expect from a Honda workhorse, because that's what the Deauville really is. Day in and day out, the Deauville will deliver you to work, to the shops, or to the south of France if you fancy a change of scenery. The narrow and relatively low seat mean it's a hit with the ladies. Love it or loathe it, the Deauville does exactly what it says on the tin.
Honda Dullsville, as lots of journalists call it, don't like it. It does what it does, and it does it very well. You see so many couriers using them, but for me it's sort of like a cheap MFI bathroom suite on wheels. It just looks awful, so it would be a no-go for me. I'd rather tour on a razor blade with wheels, thanks.
Nicknamed the Dullsville with good reason. Unless you live somewhere like Jersey, it's not the sort of thing to go touring on.
It's another one of those bland bikes. There are things that excite you because powered two-wheel transport is about being excited. It's about having freedom and flexibility. You have got that with the Honda. It is still there, but unfortunately maybe I haven't caught up with my real age yet, and I want to look better doing it all.
The Honda Deauville scored 66%. The number 7 spot is occupied by Yamaha's FJR 1300. The FJR is where sports bike meets tourer. It can cross continents with ease, comfort and speed. The liquid-cooled inline-4 produces a whopping 143 brake horsepower. So at the snap of your wrist, the FJR will propel you to warp speed if the notion so takes you. Yamaha claimed that the FJR was built for a bigger planet. I assume that means you're going to run out of road on Earth. Otherwise, how does Jupiter sound? The FJR has hydraulic clutch and quite sensibly is shaft drive. The gears are wide, which make the most of the ample torque. For the eco-friendlies out there, do not fear. The Yamaha has a 3-way catalyzer to keep the emissions low. The FJR handles well due to the twin-spar aluminium frame and lightweight cast alloy swing arm. It has the same brakes as the R1. If they can stop a crazy R1, then the more sedate FJR will find them adequate. The high bars add to the comfortable riding position and give good leverage for low-speed manoeuvres. The luggage rack and grab rail are fitted as standard, but the panniers are extra, which is a shame. Let's see if our panellists are keen to send the FJR into space.
Seems a bit of a sensible choice amongst all these other big bikes. It's not the dearest, it hasn't got the biggest engine. It will do the job, and I'm sure it'll do the job very well. Depends what you want.
Yeah, it's Yamaha's Super Tourer, and Yamaha have slotted it in nicely. It is a Super Tourer, just goes and goes and goes. Awesome performance, and again, it is another one of those bikes you can ride to the end of the earth, wherever the end of the earth is.
Really great bike, electric screen, 150 brake horsepower, handles really nicely, really well balanced. The only thing is you might want to try the comfort of it before you buy. Try and see if you can do above 100 miles on it. I could manage about 80 before one cheek went to sleep.
The Yamaha FJR scored a healthy 70%. Muscling its way into the number 6 spot is the Honda Goldwing. As large as a small car, the Honda Goldwing was built for tackling the big open spaces. Definitely not a city bike. As far as touring goes, if you want the lap of luxury, go for the Goldwing. It'll get you where you're going with a minimum input from you. The panniers and the remote locking trunk can store 147 litres of gear, handy if you're planning a long camping trip. There's a push-button electric reverse, which really is a must if you intend manoeuvring this 363 kilos of metal around. If you're feeling particularly lazy, there's cruise control and a stereo to play with. The engine is a super smooth Super 6 1800cc which produces 119 brake horsepower. To stop this hurtling high-speed mass, Honda have very kindly provided dual front 3-pot brakes and a single rear 3-pot. The rear suspension has computer control and 2 memory settings, so even the fussiest passenger should be satisfied. Mile-munching in comfort and style is Honda's Goldwing.
This bike has been the seminal touring bike for years and years and years, and there is nothing better than it. It's got a very, very strong 1800cc flat 6 engine, and it is supremely comfortable.
If bigger's better, if money's no object, the best tourer in the world.
I think the only thing the Honda Goldwing hasn't got is a 32-inch widescreen TV. Other than that, it's a bit like riding around in your front room.
Our panel of experts have scored the Goldwing 71%. That brings us to the halfway point. Stay tuned for these touring treats after the break. See you then. Welcome back to Top 10 Tourers with me, Dave Lee Travis. Starting off this part of the show, the Brits are back. In the number 5 position is the Triumph Sprint ST. So, have you got itchy feet? Not sure if you just need a good thrash through your favourite twisties or a blast of Bond to clear the cobwebs? Well, look no further, because with the Sprint ST you can do both in style and comfort. The ST is 2 bikes in one. The suspension can be adjusted to your liking, so the ST sits perfectly through the bends, or you can beef it up to take enough luggage for a round-the-world jaunt. The exhaust can also swivel to allow adjustment. It can give extra ground clearance if you intend getting everything down through the bends, or it can be moved to allow luggage for touring. See? 2 bikes in one. The ST is an inline triple, so it sounds completely unique compared to others in this class. The throttle's responsive and the engine is tuned for good mid-range grunt. The ST is a little more sports than tourer. Its handling is confidence-inspiring and it's as agile as a ballerina. The ergonomic layout, durable finish and protective bodywork make it a good long-distance all-year-round bike. The riding position is slightly forward but not aggressively so. You won't need a chiropractor to remove you from the ST after a long trip. What did our panel think?
As mentioned before, the Sprint ST was Triumph's take on the Honda VFR, so a really good sports tourer, better than the circa 1998 VFRs for definite, with a lot more character. An excellent sports tourer, whether or not it can be sort of put in the same category as the Goldwing, which is a tourer, a full-on tourer, I don't know, but an excellent bike.
I'd rather have the RS than the ST, because I just like that 955 motor. I know that it's a beautiful engine. Triumph haven't done bad. They've got a couple of bikes in this category, and if you did spend money on them, I don't think you'd be too awfully disappointed at the end of the day.
Against his other bigger engine bikes, doesn't seem to have the goods. Won't get you from here to Russia in the same amount of time or the same amount of comfort. And if we're talking big tourers, that's what they've got to be capable of.
The Triumph Sprint ST scored 74%. Throbbing its way into the number 4 spot is the Harley Davidson Road King. As with all Harleys, the Road King has that timeless, classic style that no other machine can even come close to. Never considered a Harley as a tourer? Well, maybe you should. The 1449cc air-cooled V-twin emits 68 brake horsepower and a top speed of 110, which is ample for laid-back, all-day riding. Open the throttle and the low-down torque takes over and pulls cleanly away. The low-speed capability makes it an excellent in-town cruiser. Once out on the open roads, the detachable screen provides suitable weather protection. The engine vibration from the big displacement twin is minimised by rubber engine mounts. Cruising or touring or cruising, the Road King takes it all in its stride. Hard luggage is fitted as standard, but if you fancy a bit more of a cowboy of the road look, leather saddlebags are available, not to mention white-walled tyres. The Road King is a great all-rounder, perhaps not ideally suited to winter riding due to all that lovely chrome, but on an open road and a sunny day, the Road King is king of the road. Let's hear from our panel.
Can't say anything bad about Harley because they've been around too long, certainly a lot longer than I have. They are a little bit basic, some would say agricultural, I think that's a bit harsh.
They look nice, and if you like big, clattery V-twin power, then it's one of the best ones, I think.
It's not for me. Underbraked, overweight. You either buy into this sort of lifestyle or you don't, and I'm afraid I don't.
The Harley Davidson Road King scored 75%. The first of the German contenders steps in at number 3. It's the BMW K1200 LT. Luxury tourer, yes. Big and intimidating, yes. Pleasure to ride? You bet, yeah. BMW do everything well, and the K1200 LT is no exception. It's really a hotel on wheels. The sound system can only be rivaled by boy racers on Southend Seafront. The seating is comfortable for both rider and passenger, so all day in the saddle isn't a problem. And if navigation isn't your strong point, BMW have solved that too. You can get satellite navigation on request. Beamers are known for their boxer flat twin engines, but the LT is different. The LT has an inline 4 that produces 98 brake horsepower, which is put to good use pulling 378 kilos around. The engine is sporty and dynamic, which adds to the pleasure of riding an LT. The seat height is adjustable from 770mm at its lowest to 800mm at the highest. The fuel tank is a generous 23.4 litres with a 4-litre reserve, just in case you get caught short on a long journey. Normally, BMW styling is somewhat different, not the case with the LT. BMWs seem to be towing the line with the big curvy tourer look. The LT will take you wherever you want to go with a minimum of fuss, and it will never let you down.
BMWs don't come a lot bigger than this unless you go for the really big cars. This bike is everything. It takes up the same amount of space on the road as a car. If that's your boat, float it.
BMW have always had a very good reputation for making touring bikes, and this is no exception. It doesn't have very much street cred, and it's not particularly pretty, but the engine's bulletproof, and it'll just haul you along all day in complete comfort.
Yeah, you pay a premium now for the top tourers, but boy, do you get an awful lot. It really is a great BMW. Always really the right thing to do if you're touring. Years gone by, choose a BMW. You didn't have to fuff around with chains or anything. You didn't have a mess. You got on it, it went, you serviced it, it kept going. You serviced it, it kept going even longer.
The BMW K1200 LT scored 77% from our panel of experts. The second of the Germans has taken the number 2 spot. It's the BMW R1150 RT. The R1150 RT is another superb tourer from the BMW range. Compared to the LT, it's almost 100 kilos lighter. The fuel tank is 25.2 litres, which is bigger, and it's about $3,000 cheaper. The only slight downside is it's a bit taller. The RT has a good old boxer flat twin engine, which produces 95 brake horsepower. It can happily provide high speeds for long distances. At 80, it's just getting into its stride. The RT does surge a little at low speed, which can make town riding interesting. The seat is comfy and adjustable for height. Put it in the low position and hide behind the screen for a sporty feel. Mid position makes it comfy around town, and the highest position is good on long journeys to help stop your legs cramping up. This bike certainly is versatile. The RT can deal with any weather conditions that come its way. Simply put the adjustable screen up, switch your heated grips on, and go for it. The RT does everything well, perhaps more of a motel on wheels rather than a hotel. Like the LT, but it's cheaper, and you get what you pay for. What did our panel make of it?
I love the 1150 RT. I just like the boxer engine. It's just, you see one in your rearview mirrors and you think, I'm going to get out of the way because this boy's on a big bike.
A fine bike, but you're going to pay a lot of money for it. Take your choice.
Quite sporty for a tourer. You can cover some very, very quick A-roads on it and go across to Europe. Again, like all BMWs, not particularly pretty. However, shaft drive, easy maintenance, and they never go wrong.
The R1150 RT scored 78%. Before I announce the number 1 tourer, let's take a look back at number 10 to number 2. At 10, the Love It or Loathe It Moto Guzzi California. In at 9, the triumphant Triumph Trophy 1200. And at 8 is Honda's workhorse, the Deauville. At 7 is the Yamaha FJ 1300. And in at 6 is the awesome Honda Goldwing. At 5, another Best of British Triumph Sprint ST. Into 4 is the Harley Davidson Road King. In at 3, BMW K1200 LT. And at 2 is the dependable BMW R1150 RT. This week's number 1 is the all-conquering Honda Pan-European. The Pan was launched in 1990 in the form of the ST1100. Since then it's been revamped, bored out and given an ABS version. Honda realised they were onto a good thing and decided to make it better. The revamped ST1300 is sportier, more reliable, and for the environmentally aware amongst you, it's greener, so you won't pollute the hills and vales that you ride it through. The new ST1300 weighs 15 kilos less than the old ST1100. The wheelbase is 50mm shorter, and the more centralised mass all add up to sportier handling. The seat has height adjustment, And on the ABS version, an adjustable screen is also available. It's even got heated grips. Just don't tell BMW. The Pan has the biggest range between fill-ups. It can manage approximately 300 miles on a tank full. That should keep you biking for a while. The seat is comfortable and roomy to keep you happy over long-distance trips. I know for a fact that the Pan is comfy enough for an all-nighter from London to Osserschleben for a round of the world's superbikes, without the rider and pillion being in agony due to numb bum syndrome. The name says it all. Pan-European it truly is. Go anywhere, do anything. This Honda certainly gives you wings. Let's hear from the panel.
It's something that you could quite happily ride to Czechoslovakia on and bring back lots and lots of horrible beer.
Every time you see a copper or an AA man, they've got one of these between their legs. What does that say to you? It means they're going to go on forever and be comfortable. What more do you want out of a tourer?
Mega. Strange word, mega. I like mega for the Pan-European. We could buy these or take them in part exchange and resell them in minutes all day long. Fantastic bike, used by all the emergency services, whether it's paramedics, whether it's police. This has been an absolute stalwart. To own one privately, it's just a mile eater. You can go and go and go on it. I love it. It's Honda reliable. It does actually look good. It stayed true to itself with time.
So the number one tourer, the Pan-European, scored 80%.
On behalf of Honda, it's great to accept this award for our STX 1300 Tourer. The previous model, the ST 1100, for year after year dominated the touring market and was a best-selling tourer year in, year out. This year we launched an all-new STX 1300 with a new uprated engine, suspension, new braking systems, in fact a totally new bike. It's great that this bike should win Top Tourer in its first year. Thank you very much.
That's it for Top 10 Tourers. Do join me, Dave Lee Travis, again next time for more Top 10 Bikes.